it's not just about going there playing good music. It's how you give some flavor to it by collaborating or probably, putting together this piece, that piece, and then there you have it.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly. So speaking of brilliant, I remember, when my parents were a lot younger, they thought I was so brilliant on the piano.
Okay, and then what happened?
I stopped. No, actually, no. They decided, you know what, maybe piano wasn't worth it.
Okay.
So they decided to let me venture into sports. I went and learned a lot more languages. I did this, I did that. I was very lucky that my parents weren't very overprotective, but they still feel the need for me to learn about every single thing, in life. How about you, Brandon?
I see how you relate this, okay, from being able to do the things you love. It's called exploration, right? Well, overprotectiveness. There you have it. We're going to the next topic. We're talking about overprotectiveness and also parenting. The adjective itself, Zoe.
Yes.
It carries a lot of negative connotation by the prefix over.
Exactly.
Okay, so have you ever been told that, hey Zoe, you're over lah? You do things you're over lah.
I don't call it as over, I call it as being extra.
I see, man. Well,
Yes.
the thing is, it's often, it comes alongside exaggerating lah. Okay, put it that way. It's such a big word there. And also, Zoe, one of the symptoms of being an overprotective parent is that, here's the thing, okay? You are encouraging safety and dependence over autonomy and also exploration.
Wow. So to find out more, maybe you guys have kids at home. Those of you who are parents at home are wondering, am I an overprotective parent? We have Mr. Zaid Muhammad, a smart parenting coach on the set. So hi, Mr. Zaid. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Nice to see you again, Zoe
Nice
and
to see you.
Brandon.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
And of course, we're talking about being an overprotective parent, right? Okay, first and foremost, is it really bad being overprotective?
Okay, I like what you said. The word over kind of gives out the clue,
Yeah.
Anything over is not good. Okay, but when you talk about overprotective parenting, it's something that usually comes naturally because all parents love their children, and then sometimes they kind of trying to do the best,
Right.
but they cross the line. The overprotective terms also come in few other terms. For example, umbrella parenting. Means you hold the umbrella for your kids wherever they go. Some people call it helicopter parenting.
Yeah.
You have heard of that, right?
Helicopter parenting.
Helicopter parenting, meaning you are, or some call it parachute parenting. Many terms.
Terms to it, but all means the same, right?
Yeah, all means that parents are too involved, trying to do everything for their kids.
I see.
To the point that the kids feel like, hey, okay, you do it lah. And then the problem with this overprotective parenting is there are long-term effects,
All right.
Okay.
which may not be seen in the young, but it manifested in when for example, when the child goes into the working world,
Right.
then
So-
all these things will start to come up.
All right.
So it's like a long-term manifestation.
Yeah, manifestation. So what are the effects as kids grow older? Because I've seen, I do have a friend, let me just say, who I would say the parents were maybe slightly overprotective
Right.
in a sense where everything was done for him. So
Yes.
when he's an adult, I was very surprised that he doesn't know how to pay his bills.
See?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
he doesn't know how to pay his bills. He doesn't know how to do basic house chores.
Yep.
So besides that, what are some of the other long-term effects as kids grow up into adulthood?
I think the most apparent one is the self-entitlement, which is an ingredient for being selfish. So they feel that they're entitled to everything, which is bad in this today's environment because nobody is entitled to anything. But when they are growing up with that kind of environment, they are being nurtured, all to be given to them, and that's when you see when you go to the mall, kids throw tantrum and this kind of thing. Those are big signals that the kids are being overprotective. Meaning, if I don't get my way, I will create a scene. I'll make a drama and all sort of things. So that's early symptoms. And secondly, when they go to schools, for example, when parents stop providing the care, so they expect the same treatment from the others. For example, from teachers. Worse is from the bosses, from the employers. They feel that I am entitled to this, so they become demanding.
Okay.
So from self-entitlement, it leads to being selfish and then demanding.
Right.
And then these people are very hard to be happy about their lives. And usually they there's a study that shows in the developed countries, 20-30% of very entitled children are actually very unhappy.
Wow.
Yeah, because they got everything that they wanted. So when they go to the working world, it's nothing else to look forward to. I mean, they have their phones, they have their cars, everything provided by the parents. So what else do you want, right?
See, that's under exploration.
Right, yeah.
So
they
you
stop
see,
it there, yeah.
you have discipline and like what you just mentioned, you know, kids from other countries. Now we are also talking about culture.
Sure.
All right, Asian culture and probably the Western culture, the Eastern culture, whatsoever. Let's bring back discipline into the whole spectrum here, right? So lots of parents out there, they want to discipline their kids this way. Is it right or wrong?
Yeah, very true. I think this relates a lot to both sides.
Okay.
The parents' discipline, self-discipline, as well as the children's. But it begins with the parents. If you kind of, the overprotective parents tend to be what we call liberal, you know, like anything, everything goes. It doesn't matter. As long as you are happy, I'll give it to you. As opposed to the other side, the other type of parent, which is dictator. You know, nothing, you know, is either my way or the highway. So it's two extremes. What we really want is somewhere in the middle, where when you have to give something to your kids, but also you have to create that discipline.
Right.
There's a limit. But this is a struggle for many parents, because especially in the modern age, because we are all working parents, so you tend to compensate the time lost with two things. One is your, you know, undivided attention. Whatever you want, I give it to you. And number two is monetary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that created that, you know, overprotective kind of environment. I have to control your life. You know, I want to make you happy because I leave you for so many hours at work. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
But of course, a lot of parents are a little bit sensitive, right? When we want to comment. I know my mom is, so she has a baby, and she got very, very, I would say defensive.
Right.
Because I do think she, in a way, is overprotective over my baby sister. So, you know, as an outsider, how can we approach a parent, or how can we approach somebody who's close to us, maybe a new parent, a new aunt, a new mom, a new dad, I would say, sort of change or make them, delegate some discipline.
Right.
That's a good question, because you know why? Each and every time, Zoe, when we have this kind of situation where we just go out and voice out, they'll be like, please don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Now, I mean, as a parenting coach, I got that as well.
Right.
I mean, who are you to talk to me about my family?
Exactly.
So I think this is when, I guess, in anything in life, the first thing that we need to remove is that ego, you know? When we have an ego inside of our heart, then the information stops coming in. Because we assume that we are right, and then what do you know, you know? Especially those coming from people who are not parents yet. They say, what do you know? You are not parents yet, you know?
Yeah.
So that's egoistic in a way. I mean, humble people, they can accept advice from anyone. It doesn't mean that they follow, but at least they consider, right? So I think one way to do it is if you have, for the viewers out there, if you see these kind of situations, you can show the long-term effects of this overprotective, you know, which will cause damages to both the child and the parents. I mean, tantrum. Who likes to deal with tantrum, right? But tantrum doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you are very protective and you don't let the child to fail a little. You know, there's this saying that says, you know, let your child fail a little, make mistakes a little, but learn a lot.
Right.
Yeah. But if you are overprotective, they will never make mistakes, which means they never learn.
Right.
Yeah. So and then when they never learn, they get into trouble later on. When they start making mistakes, at that time the mistakes becomes costly.
Right.
Yeah. So tell them that this kind of thing, because they don't see it. Yeah.
So I like how you mentioned that these are the kind of things that we don't really see, like kids throwing tantrums in malls or around us, and next thing you know, there comes the gadget to keep them quiet.
Very true.
Right? That is another way of not self-disciplining your kids. I mean, not showing them how to learn out from it. But the thing is, besides exploration, giving kids the gadgets and all that, just to be quiet, what are the kind of normal or rather common things out there, especially with parents, that they do? They don't realize they're really overprotecting their child.
Okay. Very simple. I mean, if you look at it from the moment you wake them up, you know, let's say they are school-going children. Some parents will do everything for the kids, you know, prepare the uniform so that the kids don't experience the consequence of being late.
Okay.
You know, and then they will rush the kids to the school because the child woke up late.
Okay.
So they protect the child from being disciplined by the school teachers. So that could be another way of shielding them from the consequences. So that's bad. I mean, we need to train our kids to wake up early, for example, and then if they fail to do so, we say, okay, you are on your own. You know, I can't help you anymore. You got to face your school discipline. If that happens 2 or 3 times, I think they will learn for life. Yeah. Say, oh, okay, I'm not going to face my discipline teacher again. You know, that's how we learn, right? So that's where the discipline part comes. But this also takes a strong self-discipline from parents to stop from being interfering. This is what overprotective is all about, I feel. Not letting the kids to suffer.
Right.
Yeah. But for me, my principle when I raise my own kids, I see that children who struggle when they are younger become stronger in the future.
Right.
You know, so you need to create a lot of struggles. You know, I mean, work, let them wash their own shoes, clean up their room, let them do it. You know.
Well, is it often the case in which whereby you just put them there and do everything yourself? Is it?
That's good.
Does it really work that?
I think as long as you don't cross the line into like those bullies or abuse, you know, so you got to know the line.
Yeah.
But no hard work has ever killed any child. I would say that.
Exactly.
You know?
I think I believe the Japanese actually, you know, what they do is with their kids, especially in kindergarten, is what they start doing is they actually teach the kids to do not house chores, but to tidy up the classroom. They start packing their own stuff. So these are the type of things that we should implement at an early young age, right?
That's beautiful that you said because this is a way of learning as well. You know, before we learn, we got to remove the ego, like I mentioned earlier. And washing this bathroom, cleaning the longkang and all, you know, washing this is not about cleaning those things, but it's about cleaning your attitude.
Right.
You know, no matter how great you are, you know, you still need to clean the toilet, you know, for example. All these are great lessons to remove that self-entitlement from the children.
Right.
You know, like what the Japanese did. You see their culture now, like they are all very, you know, like taking care of each other.
They're very clean, very tidy.
Exactly. That's how it started.
All right. So to the parents out there who are watching, of course, do you have any tips and advice for them to kind of check themselves right now? Am I being an overprotective parent?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say check whether your kids really struggle or not. You know, are they capable of doing things on their own? One example that I can say is that if you are not there, let's say if they are put to a boarding school, for example, or for God forbid that you are gone, will they survive? You know, so this kind of thing will prompt the parents to think that, hey, you know, I think my kids don't know how to cook, for example. Can't even clean up their own room, can't even wash their own shoes. So that's a big signal that we have been overprotecting them all this while.
Right.
So let's take the opportunity to create what I call artificial struggles.
Artificial struggles.
Let them struggle a bit is good for them.
Yeah, let them struggle a little bit. You're always there watching them fall and picking them up.
With loving guidance and whatnot, then we'll create a beautiful adults, you know, strong adults in the future.
Excellent,
All right.
Mr. Zaid.
Thank you so much, Mr.
My
Zaid,
pleasure.
for
Thank
being
you
on
for
the
the
show.
opportunity.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on.
Okay.
What is this one thing that you really appreciate from your parents raising you up when you were a kid?
I actually agree with what you said. My parents actually let me struggle a lot. I started, hello, back then we didn't have a washing machine, okay? So we had to, wash.
That's good.
Yeah, everything has to be manual. So as an adult, I feel a little bit more disciplined. I feel very, very appreciative of my parents.
Right.
So
Fantastic.
thanks, Mom and Dad, for, that lesson. How about you?
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, she treats me with the thing that I really hold close to me each and every time I do something good.
Okay, which is?
She gives me ice cream.
Wow. Rewards.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
And
job.
talking about ice cream, Zoe, we have Nabil here.
Yes,
Just went
we
around
do.
checking out ice cream, and he's trying to make us drool right now.
He is
especially to the
trying.
viewers at home as well. So have a look. Here's Nabil.